From everyone expecting a competitive war, to the fight being dominated by Anthony Joshua, let's talk about what went down when AJ and Francis Ngannou faced off against each other. When this blockbuster bout was announced, everyone was obviously hyped because who wouldn't be excited to see a clash of titans? But in the end, despite everyone thinking both men had an equal chance at getting the job done, it was Joshua who came out on top with ease. So now let's talk about how the first round went down. After Francis set the boxing world on fire by almost beating Tyson Fury back in October 2023, boxing fans were incredibly excited to see what he'd do against AJ. I mean, the Predator literally looked like a seasoned boxer when he went up against the Gypsy King, with many claiming that he actually deserved to win. His technique, fundamentals, and power looked incredible in his first boxing fight, so we didn't expect anything less against the Brit. Except that's not quite how things went down. The first round started off with AJ immediately going to the jab and trying to measure the distance, which kept Francis on the back foot for a bit. Francis didn't come out guns blazing. Instead, he fought defensively at first before letting his fist loose and attempting to land punches. But he didn't really land much while AJ landed a jab to his body once again. Soon after, the Predator managed to push AJ to the ropes and tried to take advantage of this, but Joshua dodged the punches and clinched the Cameroonian straight away. Following that, AJ kept looking sharper than ever as he landed some more jabs, while Francis couldn't really get going. Then things took a crazy turn with about a minute left in the round as Joshua hit Ngannou with a vicious right cross that sent him straight to the canvas. Nobody could believe what they were seeing. The man who ate an elbow from Tyson Fury with ease had just gotten knocked down. It wasn't until the 8 count that Francis actually got up, so you could tell he was shaken. While we were expecting some crazy knockdowns, we weren't expecting one to come as early as the first round, especially with Ngannou being on the receiving end of it. But little did we know that this was only a sign of things to come in round 2. If you thought round 1 was wild, then let me tell you about the madness of what went down in round 2, because it was the last thing anyone expected. Ngannou tried to be more aggressive at the start of the round, though again, it was Anthony who was actually able to land punches. He was looking sharper and faster than Francis, who looked pretty stiff out there. Not to mention, all of Joshua's feints were getting pretty strong reactions from the Predator, which wasn't a good look for him. With about 2 minutes left in the round, AJ landed another right hand on Ngannou's jaw, prompting him to clinch AJ. Then, once again, with a minute left, Joshua did some crazy damage to Francis. First, he hit him with a jab to the face, followed by one to the body, before landing a brutal overhand right that knocked him down for the second time. What's crazy is that Ngannou walked right into it as well, so it was a massive mistake. He had a look of defeat on his face, but he managed to get back up. Yet, it was all for nothing. As soon as Francis got up, AJ landed another powerful right hand that flatlined Ngannou and sent him straight to the Shadow Realm. Just like that, Joshua knocked Francis of all people out cold. Nobody could believe what they were seeing because the Predator always had an iron chin, yet Joshua made light work of him. The entire fight, Anthony looked super sure of himself and did whatever the hell he wanted from start to finish. That was especially the case once he knocked Francis down the first time. He knew there was a clear gap in skill level between the two, and he fought accordingly. Ngannou, on the other hand, didn't look as good as he did in the Fury fight. He was stiff, his punches weren't landing, and he honestly looked lost out there. On top of all that, his chin clearly wasn't as strong as it was in the Fury fight either. Either way, you've got to give him credit for being willing to stand up against two of the greatest boxers in the world in his first 2 fights. He may not have emerged victorious in the bouts, but he definitely won everyone's hearts. On top of that, he's earned mad cash from boxing unlike his time with the UFC. So I'd say he's chilling with all those millions of dollars he took home. Plus, everyone still loves and respects the dude like crazy, and he's gonna return to MMA soon as well. So if you're a mega fan of Ngannou, don't worry. His future still looks bright. It would outpoint him. And since it was a much more exciting finish, the combat sports world went wild. Many pointed to the fact that the Drake curse is very real since Francis walked out to God's plan, while others were in disbelief at how easy Joshua made it look. Aljamain Sterling's reaction sums it up best as he simply tweeted out, and that's what a lot of us were thinking. Kenny Florian talked about how vicious those punches from AJ were, saying that those were 3 of some of the hardest right hands he's seen in combat sports, and they all landed in one fight against Francis. Much like me, he was amazed at how easy the Brit made it look. Even Dan Hardy acknowledged AJ's phenomenal showing as he called it a hell of a performance before adding, "Fair play, levels for sure." Then there are dudes like Michael Bisping and DC who recorded their live reactions to the fight, and as you can imagine, neither of them could believe what had happened. Bisping yelled, That's it, it's all over, he's unconscious.
That's it! He's out! He's unconscious! He is 100% asleep. Anthony Joshua follows it up with another thunderous right hand.
He gave AJ props and said the Brits put an end to all of the discussions about how good he truly is, and that he silenced his doubters. As for DC, he went wild as well as he shouted, oh my God!
Francis heard bad. Yeah, Josh. Francis heard bad. Josh was gonna put it up. Oh! Oh my God!
While talking about the fight sometime later, DC pointed to how AJ usually starts his fights a little slow, but in this case, he went at the Predator as if he didn't respect him, and that's honestly very true. Others, such as Marvin Vettori, made sure to give Francis respect as he tweeted out that the Cameroonian is still the man, while Kamaru Usman said Ngannou's still the baddest on the planet. Moving on to Rampage Jackson, he said what a lot of us were thinking. At least Francis made 20 million. Now let's talk about what Fury had to say, because Joshua's performance painted the Gypsy King in a very terrible light, with some such as Derek Brunson saying, "Imagine what Anthony Joshua would do to Tyson Fury." As expected, he started by saying that he had a shit performance against Francis, but he didn't talk much trash as he said, AJ did absolutely fantastic and lit him up with a right hand. Following that, let me tell you what Francis and AJ themselves had to say after the fight. AJ posted a clip of the KO on his Instagram with the caption, "From Predator to Prey." But otherwise, both men showed a ton of sportsmanship as they took a selfie in the back after the fight. Ngannou, on the other hand, took to social media to apologize to everyone as he said, "Sorry guys, I let you all down. Today was a bad day in the office, but tomorrow will be another day. Thank you for all the love." Many fans and fighters made sure to let him know that he has no reason to be ashamed and reminded him that they have a ton of respect for him. So now, all of this begs the question, what's next for both men? Well, Francis is set to make his MMA comeback in the PFL, and I'm sure he's going to emerge victorious. As for his boxing career, it'll be hard for him to be champ, but he can definitely have some more fights before stepping aside from the sport entirely. For AJ, this fight was huge because now he's looked at as the best heavyweight besides Alexander Usyk, and with many expecting the Ukrainian to defeat Fury. A third fight between Joshua and Usyk seems the most likely outcome. If the bout happens and AJ fights the way he did against Ngannou to become undisputed champ, it'll be a true full-circle moment that all his fans would love to see. Of course, Usyk isn't an easy fight at all, but the current AJ looks dangerous, so who knows? Maybe he'll be the king of the heavyweight division once again. There you have it. From everyone expecting a competitive war to the fight being dominated by Anthony Joshua. That was everything that went down when AJ and Francis Ngannou faced off against each other.